Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening. Halftime.
It is halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM if you're tuned into our frequencies. You can also catch us on sasportstar.com. I'm Carl Schoening. He's James Pledger. Edwin in for another day of training. Hopefully he's learning the board. The young Padawan will learn how to do your job soon. Oh, master behind the mixer, James Pledger. We got a fun show lined up today. A lot of news actually has broken down. Got a few NBA players that have secured a bag, some bigger than others. Dak is back. Deshaun is gone. Holly Berry is being sued by an ex-UFC fighter. We're going to have a little fun with that one in Carl's Countdown. Durant's jersey is IPOing, which I don't even know what that means, except my girlfriend who's into stocks, she's explained it to me, and I still don't get it. I'll have to actually read the article and get to that a little bit later.
Is that like an NFT?
Yeah, I think it's something along those lines, like an NFT. The Spurs Summer League is over. We're going to get into our thoughts on that. That'll be a fun topic, as yesterday's finale against the Thunder, a little underwhelming. No official Spurs roster players at that moment played in. But Joe Weiskamp, he signs with the Spurs, and we'll talk about his contract structure. And at some point, we're going to have to talk about this, James. I wanted to draft Tim Tebow as a joke with my last pick in our fantasy draft.
Get it right. It's football Jesus.
Football Jesus. Is that what he's known as? Who calls him that?
Everybody.
What?
Yeah.
How am I not privy to this? No.
Yeah, it's football Jesus.
I know about touchdown Jesus. Is that Notre Dame? Is that right?
Yeah, that's Notre Dame.
No, I don't know about football Jesus. That's Tim Tebow, but his career as a football player, probably as a professional athlete, unless he wants to get into tennis or something, is over.
Well, I mean, there's a possibility. Maybe he takes a shot at basketball next. I'm not sure. There's a lot out there for him to pursue. Maybe there's a lot of soccer leagues around. Bundesliga, MLS, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A.
A G League team will sign Tim Tebow if he so chooses to go that route.
100%. Austin. You're up.
No. We're a little more serious. I'm thinking maybe Canton Charge, somebody along those lines. By the way, Pat Beverly is traded twice in the same week before halftime starts. We're going to talk about that. He ends up in Minnesota in a Jarrett Culver trade. That'll be part of our general NBA topics and discussions. But I love this. It's great to get headlines in before the show starts, so we're not talking about everything that happened yesterday afternoon and such. What stands out in those rundown there, if you could pick what we start with, Pudge?
Well, I think the Spurs Summer League and Joe Weiskamp getting a deal kind of really percolates in terms of looking at the standouts, what happened, because when you look at it, if you look at it on its face value, Summer League seemed underwhelming as a whole for the Spurs.
Mm-hmm. Only one win.
They didn't even make the tournament, and they were winless in Salt Lake. There weren't a whole lot of positives to take, so you had to really search for them, right?
Yes, and I understand Spurs fans might be upset with Josh Primo being held out of, I think, 3 of the 5 Las Vegas Summer League games at 18 and a half years old. You want to see these guys, and I get the eagerness that comes with that. But the Spurs also signed, 17, 18 other guys to the contract, and those guys entrusted the Spurs with their basketball lives. What they do in that Summer League could determine if they get an Exhibit 10 deal in a training camp somewhere, maybe a good Euro deal if there's any scouts looking to fill out their rosters. Definitely training camp invites for G League teams. You wouldn't be surprised to see some of these summer Spurs on the Austin Spurs, which, we can just go ahead and dive right into it. It was announced today from a reporter on The Athletic. I should have written down his name. First time I heard of him, who covers Iowa football for The Athletic, that Joe Weiskamp will be signing a 2-way deal with the Spurs, which means he'll be spending the most of the time of this first year of his contract in Austin. And I understand the values of those two-way deals have gone up. They started at $75,000. They're working their way into $80,000 for a minimum contract. If I were offered $80,000 for my first job out of school, I would love that. That is a great deal. And it shows investment. The Spurs they have to actually offer him contract tender. They can say, hey, this is the minimum salary contract. We have to offer it to you to retain your rights. You can refuse this so we can retain your rights and accept another deal, whether that be over in Europe or with the Austin Spurs. We saw Jaron Blossomgame do that. The Spurs retained his rights until he forced them to sign him, because you have to offer that contract to have your rights retained. And if Weiskamp said instead, it looks like the Spurs are pretty stacked and I might not ever be able to crack their roster, I'll go ahead and sign that legal tender that they have to offer to retain my rights. And if they have to waive me after training camp, then maybe there's another team that would be interested in picking me up. So very good move by Joe Weiskamp to show that he's also all in on his development, going down to Austin, getting used to the 24-second shot clock, the longer, more athletic athletes, the longer three-point line. Good deal for Weiskamp. I'm excited about his future, and I'm glad that he's going to take it gradually by working with Matt Nielsen down there, the head coach of the Austin Spurs.
Yeah, and we expected him to be signing a two-way contract for the most part as a second-round pick with the Spurs, with as many players as they have on the roster and committed to the roster currently. But in terms of only getting to see Primo for 2 games, a limited sample size with Devin Vassell, which I get kind of why they pulled him out, especially when you tweak a hamstring. Trey Jones, like, you wanted to see more of these because as a fan, you're less concerned with filling out other teams' rosters, less concerned with filling out Austin. You kind of want to know what you have coming to San Antonio. And we understand that there's a good chance that Josh Primo is going to spend at least the first part of his season down in Austin developing as he gets ready to join the San Antonio Spurs when he's ready. So him only playing in 2 games in Vegas, really just, you want to see more as a fan. You want to see what you got. You want to see if he shows out. You want to see what the Rockets are doing. Outside of Jalen Green, who suffered a hamstring injury like Vassell and was shut down, you got to see Alperen Şengün. You got to see Josh Christopher. You got to see all their young guys from last year still continuing to develop, to see what they're going to be and how they react to playing against lesser competition to get ready for the actual season. And you don't see that with this summer league this year. You only get to see a brief shining moment of maybe what they can do, and then they're shut down and you're left with wondering, and then you're not going to get to see Josh Primo for the bulk of the year. So unless you're watching Austin Spurs games, which I know a lot of Spurs fans don't do, you're left wondering, well, what is he? What's he going to be? How's he going to develop? Because you saw him get better. You saw him learn from his mistakes early on, especially in Salt Lake City. You got to see him make some mistakes, not be afraid of those mistakes, correct those mistakes by the next game, and get better. And you just wanted to see that continuance and maybe earn a spot into the tournament and see what can happen from there, just to get some extra work in.
I understand that side of it too. And it would have been awesome if the Spurs did win enough games to get into the tournament, in which case I imagine we would have seen more of Josh Primo at least. Trey Jones was in concussion protocols, and then Sunday he gets hit in the head neck area in the closing moments of the fourth quarter. And I would think that he probably, like Vassell, would have been held out.
Sure.
But Primo, yeah, and you touched on it, seems very coachable and very quick to fix those mistakes. That's what I took away from this summer league with him. Obviously, limited sample size, and obviously that's going to be what he ends up doing with Austin most likely, and that's a good thing. I would rather have somebody like Josh Primo, who seems to understand the situation, he's a young guy, The SEC is a no-joke basketball league, but the NBA is as real as it gets. Josh Primo showed me that when he was ready to do something, and maybe it didn't go the way he thought it would in his head, he accepted the coaching, and I don't think he made too many mistakes twice. Maybe occasionally, but the other thing he showed me is that he is a creative shot maker. He knows how to make plays for himself. He knows how to maybe do some of those James Harden, Trey Young step backs to three-pointers where I don't know how they do it, but they take that almost a 3-foot hop step back and knock down a three. And that was his big thing out of college, was that he was a 38% three-point shooter at the SEC.
Sure.
I want to see more of Primo, just like everybody else, but we're a month and 10 days away from training camp getting going.
What are your takeaways of Weiskamp from what you saw?
Needs to get the all-around seasoning that was not offered at Iowa, obviously. Not that Iowa can't be, those players from Iowa can't be good players, but there is something about second-round picks signing these two-way deals, and then maybe with that draft rights, those teams can offer 3-year minimum contract deals, or perhaps they've proved to get more. We'll have to see what happens with Weiskamp. Jericho Sims for the Knicks also signed a two-way deal. Texas Longhorn.
He looked good.
He looks great.
He looked really good in the summer league.
He is a freak athlete among freak athletes. It is ridiculous how he can get eye level with rim at will. Nobody's going to be able to stop his alley-oops if he ever elevates for a lob.
And Rob always talks about your bounce and then your second bounce.
Oh,
His
he's a second bounce.
Has a bounce.
Yeah. He's unreal. That's good stuff from the NBA.
Explain to me what this IPO thing is.
Yeah, let's touch on that.
Your girlfriend said she explained it to you because she's into stocks and stuff. And I have zero clue what an IPO on Kevin Durant's Team USA jersey means.
So I don't think it's his Team USA jersey. I think it's his high school jersey.
Oh.
And as I understand it, I actually get tweet notifications for only a handful of people, and KD Trey 5 is one of them. And as I understand it, he has a 2005-2006 jersey that's heading up for IPO at Collectible. Now, I don't know what Collectible is, so I'm pulling this up right now. It is a sports card and memorabilia platform that's offering an IPO for a game-worn KD jersey from his 05-06 senior year at Montrose Christian School, beginning Tuesday at 2:30 Eastern Time. So during halftime, you can get in on this IPO. Shares will be available at $10 a piece, with Collectible valuing the asset at $219,000. So I don't know what that necessarily means. I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit more from this article that KD tweeted out.
So I'm kind of glimmering that you're buying stock in a jersey that is valued at a certain price and hoping that the price of said jersey goes up to make money off of your share of said jersey.
And the crazy thing about IPOs is if you get in at the IPO, there's almost something called a unicorn horn, is what I understand, where it spikes up and then everybody sells on that spike up and then it spikes down. So all of a sudden, something that's valued at $219,000, and I can't give out financial advice. This is just what I know. But it's valued at $219,000, and all of a sudden, people buy in at $10 a piece when this goes live, and that $10 a piece for a stock in this jersey might go up to $30. So if all of a sudden you put in 100, you can get back, your multiples of that. I'm not a math major.
Would you do something like this?
Only because it's becoming more popular and it makes sense. This jersey, if it were, I guess if it were to sell for $1 million and you had a little bit of stock in it, that's over a 400% return on investment. I'm not going to buy a $219,000 jersey, but if you say I can own 5% of a jersey that I can't hang up in my wall, but eventually that 5% of the jersey increases. Oh no, it's crazy. I don't really understand it, but it is something that is becoming so popular with just all of this 24-hour nonstop crypto, and it's almost like stocks are yesterday's news, and everybody's just trying to find a new creative way to assign this arbitrary value that we have on things anyway. And money isn't real to begin with. That's a whole other conversation. So all of a sudden, you're putting in some arbitrary money, 10 USD, $10 American, and it spikes up to $50 American. You can go ahead and just take that and make sure you report it on your taxes and be on your way. I don't understand how it all works. It's all.
This seems like how Carl would invest his money, though.
I would want the actual jersey so I can put it in my man cave and then sell it when Kevin Durant makes the Hall of Fame and the value is at its highest then. That seems to be the real thing.
But that's the normal way of doing things.
That's the normal way of doing things. I don't understand this way of the future where we're talking about, I guess, imaginary ownership of things. But I guess that's what stocks has always kind of been. You imaginarily own a publicly trading company.
Sure.
Like, I don't understand why everybody's buying GameStop stock and all of a sudden GameStop stock is skyrocketing just because people are buying it, not necessarily because GameStop's doing anything innovative. They're going to be closed soon.
Yeah.
The video game world is passing by GameStop.
It was basically to stick it to the large companies that were trying to short sell it.
But still, it doesn't make sense to me how that value goes up just because a whole bunch of people want to buy some stocks. I guess.
Well, you're investing in it.
I guess.
And then when investment goes in an all-time high, the stock's going to rise.
But they're still not doing anything. That's what I'm confused about. But if you get it, let us know. Hey, B says good afternoon. She's watching us on YouTube. Tracy seems to have something about Tim Tebow. Send us a link. I can't click on that link, but we will get into a little Tim Tebow. It was
just Tim Tebow being cut.
Yeah, of course we have to talk about Tim Tebow.
It's the story about it.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, my life has become headlines, so much to the point, Pledge, that last night I dreamed I was doing headlines on the radio, and I
so
wasn't
you dreamed
prepared.
You were at work.
Yes, but I wasn't prepared. But today I am prepared, so let's just go ahead and fire it off. It's Carl's Countdown. All righty, Carl's Countdown, the headlines that San Antonio needs to know. Headline 2, Deshaun is gone yet again. Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson absent from practice Monday after returning last week. Was this basically the Texans saying, you know what, it's just better if you go away until we resolve this? They put him 4th on the depth chart, which is somewhat insulting, but also makes sense if they have no intention of playing him.
If it's not, and they try and bring him back again, then I don't know what's going on in Houston, because this thing has been handled poorly from the beginning, both by the NFL, the team, Deshaun himself. And I get Deshaun's point, like, he's not going to hold out. He's not going to miss camp because then he's subject to fines. But if you're the Texans and he's already called your bluff on showing up, send him home. Pay him, send him home, get rid of the distraction. And they keep trying to say it's not a distraction, but when you and everyone on the team and the coach and the general manager is constantly being asked about Deshaun and what he's doing and what he'll be doing, the best way to get rid of that nuisance being asked every single day is for him to not be there. And if he's not there, out of sight, out of mind. You will get an occasional question, but it won't be the everyday. Well, why was Deshaun playing with the safeties? Why was Deshaun warming up with the quarterbacks but didn't do anything? Why is Deshaun the 4th-string quarterback? You know what?
I think we all know why. It's the trade demand, then all the ensuing off-the-field issues. But they canceled some non-voluntary off-season training periods, so he didn't have to...
OTAs, yep.
Yeah, so he didn't have all of these
mini
questions.
Camps, sorry.
Yeah.
Mandatory mini camps.
And that hurt the team. That they literally did that so he didn't get fined and look bad or something. They should have just done this one from the jump.
It made no sense to me with the game of chicken that these two sides have been playing along with the NFL. And basically everybody's just waiting on the NFL to make a ruling on suspending him so that everyone can move past this and come to whether it's a trade agreement with someone, because everybody's waiting to find out what the number of games he's going to miss is. At least in Major League Baseball, you've got some clarity with the Trevor Bauer situation. Major League Baseball has suspended him indefinitely, and they are continually extending that suspension until there's a resolution on the case.
That would almost be preferable to everything, but in a weird way, this Deshaun Watson mess has become more than a mess. What's another adjective for mess? Because it's beyond that.
Dumpster fire?
Yes, there you go. It's like two dumpster fires in one.
It's like a dumpster fire where the dumpster is inside another dumpster that's also on fire.
Well, that's Deshaun Watson update for you right there. Headline one, we're going into the fighting world right now. Halle Berry is being sued by a former UFC fighter, Kat Zingano, over the movie Bruised, in which Zingano was under the impression, because apparently Halle Berry told her straight up, hey, keep your schedule cleared. We need to do a lot of filming for this movie. It's a good opportunity for you. And apparently Halle Berry ghosted her. And that also forced Zingano to turn down a big offer from the UFC for a fight. And because she turned down the UFC fight, she was dropped by UFC. And now she's just looking for somebody to sue, I guess. And it can't be the UFC because she turned down UFC and she didn't have pen and paper. She didn't have anything in writing with Halle Berry. And now she's trying to sue for, I guess, lost wages, something along those lines. It seems to me maybe she's looking for a big settlement from Halle Berry if she can prove that she was given some kind of, I guess, violation of a contract. I don't know why she's doing it. But
here's the thing. If you don't have a written agreement about something, it's going to be very hard to prove anything. If you're doing this based on a verbal agreement, which you're the only two parties that were involved, it's going to be extremely hard to prove it. And here's the thing. Once you found out that UFC had come calling, you should have called Halle Berry instead of turning them down to find out, are we still good on this? Is this still good? Can I get this in writing? Because that's just the way the world and legal situations work. You have to have proof.
That's exactly where I was going with it. I said, but she should have gotten it in writing in some way from Halle Berry. Even if this falls through, you're guaranteed something. Now she's just looking for some way to get money. And I feel for her because I'm sure you've also, and so have I, been told several times in our life, hey, this might happen, be ready for it. And then it just never happened.
Happens all the time.
All the time. All righty, moving on. Headline 0. Cam Newton says Bill Belichick has yet to name him the starting quarterback for the Patriots regular season NFL opener. Now, remember, we've talked about this. Cam Newton has a roughly $9 million kicker in his clause that he gets that $9 million if he starts 60 snaps. I think he gets an additional $1 million if he starts 90 snaps, plays 90 snaps, I should say, not starts, plays 60 snaps, plays 60 snaps. He also gets an additional $1 million if he is named a Super Bowl MVP, and he gets another $1 million if he makes first ballot All-Pro or if he's an All-NFL player. So he could get up to $14 million, or he could be down to just his guaranteed $3.5 million, which is a brilliant move by the Patriots organization. But why is anybody surprised that Bill Belichick hasn't named any starter yet?
Well, he hasn't named him a starter because there's no need to, because if you've been paying attention, Mac Jones has been outperforming Cam Newton so far in camp and in the preseason. And Mac Jones very may well take that job from week 1, if not within the first few weeks. And Cam Newton's contract is such that it's not guaranteed. It's all based on incentives and bonuses, and that works perfectly for the Patriots, to where they had a safety net if their first round pick didn't progress or look the way they wanted early on. But if he did, you can get out of a lot of money very easily.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. At the moment, Cam is running with the ones for the Patriots. They play the Eagles on Thursday, back-to-back Thursday nights with the Eagles. This one I'll be able to pay a little more attention to since Slackers was a one-time thing.
You want to go Slackers on Thursday?
I might still go to Slackers on Thursday. that might be where I catch the game. Still, anyhow.
Do you think Cam's going to be the starter, though? Do you think he's going to open up as the starter?
Week 1, yes. because there's something to be said about experience and Bill Belichick wanting that experience. And you have a first-round pick. And in this instant gratification era we live in, everybody wants to see Mac Jones out there because Cam Newton been there, done that. But Cam Newton got COVID last year. He wasn't the same player. I think he bounces back a little bit from that. So many things were going in the wrong direction for New England last year with a cancellation, 9 defensive players opting out. So I do see Cam being a placeholder for that starting position until Mac Jones sees what real week 1, week 2 regular season football action looks like. Because if you don't, you might get hurt. There is something to be said about a young player who I don't really know if you can compare SEC speed to NFL speed, because there's just a big difference between 5 or 6 guys on a defense maybe going to the NFL and an actual NFL defense. And you want to give them a little bit of opportunity to be coached up from the sidelines. But everybody that's an armchair offensive coordinator says, just roll him out. Just let him get his real reps in. I'm for at least 2 or 3 weeks letting Mac Jones learn from the sidelines, see what it's like for somebody like a veteran Cam Newton as a starter. And then if Cam is underperforming week 3, let Mac in.
But this is a team that went all in free agency, spent a ton of money, and is built to compete this season. And if anything has shown us over the last 4 or 5 years, is that rookies are more equipped to step into NFL offenses and grasp the concepts more so than at any time in NFL history. We see it every year. NFL quarterbacks come in and can immediately not just compete, but be very, very good and compete at a high level. Whether you look at a Justin Herbert over in Los Angeles last year, you look at the way Joe Burrow was progressing before his knee injury. If you look at Deshaun Watson and what he did in his first season with the Houston Texans, I know he didn't start the first game, but he finished it and started every subsequent game thereafter and was just fine. So the offense is just more geared, and I think college quarterbacks are more equipped now, especially since they've been training with their Elite 11 camps and all the things that they go through, their personal quarterback coaches. They're more equipped to deal with breaking down film and understanding concepts than they ever have previously.
I don't disagree with that, but there is something to be said about learning from the sidelines with a veteran quarterback like Cam. And then at some point, maybe not middle of game 1, week 1, but at some point, Mac Jones does get an opportunity, whether that's when Cam gets first injured or if Cam just starts stinking up the joint and you hear the fans start chanting Mac, Mac, Mac.
You see it in practice and you see it in the games. Cam's arm isn't what it was. No. And if he can't threaten vertically, they're going to take away the underneath stuff because defenses aren't scared of Cam threatening vertically. And sometimes to open up the run game and to open up the underneath routes, you need to be able to threaten the field vertically. And if Cam can't do that through camp and these preseason games, and the coaching staff sees that, I don't think they should be scared to turn to Mac Jones.
I don't think they'll be scared to turn to Mac Jones, but there is something that correlates between Bill Belichick and Greg Popovich, where they aren't anti-playing rookies, but they're probably not going to super rely on their rookies day 1, game 1, and we'll have to see if that's what happens. That'll be something we keep an eye on, especially if Cam Newton gets his money. We'll start counting up the snaps, do the math on the percentages, because he has $9 million riding on playing 60% of the snaps. All right, so when we get back, we're going to talk about the summer Spurs standouts that aren't on the roster. That's fun. And we're also going to talk about Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. What kind of tacos do you like? Of course.
Non-vegan.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. This is halftime. This is your midday break on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
If I could choose Tom and Jerry hour over, what was it called, like Flam Bang Theater?
What? Yo, that was on Channel 99 with squiggly lines. Rob, there was no cartoon called Slam Bang.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a cartoon. It was the show that showed the cartoon.
Oh, Slam Bang.
I did not.
That's Channel 99 squiggly line.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
While most water providers do a pretty good job making sure they exceed EPA guidelines, did you know EPA standards for tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years? With growing concerns of our aging infrastructure, more homeowners want to take their water quality into their own hands. That is why you should call Alamo Water Softeners and have them give you a free water analysis. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Tune in to The Blitz today for the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Catch up on the latest injuries and how it'll affect your team. The Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online at TSAOG.com.
At CDW, we get the people who need to sign here aren't always here.
Tell me about it. I'm always chasing down signatures. I go through pens and shoes like chewing gum.
Sounds like you need Adobe Sign orchestrated by CDW to securely automate e-signatures and workflows across devices from anywhere. Integrating with existing tools, Sign can save your organization time, money, and miles.
Thank goodness I can finally take these shoes off.
No. Back on. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Adobe Sign.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Hey, happy hours back at Twin Peaks. Get up here Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, cheap shots, and freezing cold 29-degree draft brews. Are you feeling snacky? We also have select apps available for $2, $4, and $6. Cheers!
Tom Bodette here, still leaving the light on for the long-haul trucker. While we were locked down at home, you were out there day and night bringing us what we needed to make it through. And Motel 6 is here to help you make it through. Want to trade a loose load strap and a sore back for a good night's sleep? Yes, you do. Motel 6 has a place just down the road with a clean, comfortable room and a great low rate. You'll know it when you see it. I'm Tom Bodette from Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Billy Bob's Bed's greatest store on earth. Nobody sells sure to perfect sleepers, cheapers. We're the biggest store in San Antonio. We've got 100 different mattresses to choose from. We're having a big sale this weekend. Nobody beats my prices or money. It's not Billy Bob.
Billy Bob, I went to another store. They had a luxury queen size set for $12.99. What can you do?
I got one just like it for $4.99. So get off my phone, get over here, and save yourself a fortune on a mattress. It's going to make you late to work.
Billy Bob, you got credit, and do you deliver?
I've got interest-free credit, and baby, do I deliver. Log on to BillyBobsBeds.com and check out our internet special.
Billy Bob's Beds is having a huge back-to-school clearance sale with discounts up to 80% off. You can get any Stein & Richter pillow top mattress, twin, full, or queen for only $199. And now you can shop our in-store collection online at BillyBobsBeds.com and then pick up your items the same day in-store. Get over to Billy Bob's Beds before 6 p.m. That's BillyBobsBeds.com.
Ooh, Billy Bob, I'm headed your way.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Rob Thompson and Carl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. We are live, loud, and local. You can listen to us on the San Antonio airwaves, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. You can watch us on Facebook Live, YouTube, or sasportstar.com. Always check us out if you can't get to a radio. Hey, we also got some chance for you to win $500 for you and $500 for your school or charity in the San Antonio Sports Star Back to School Cash Contest. Register at sasportstar.com. Another reason to go to our great website. Shout out to Cisco. I know he works hard maintaining that. And you can also hit us up on Twitter. I'm at CarlESPN. Pledger is at I am Pledger. John Dreyer was in on our last segment at Spurs and Salsa. I like that handle. That's a good handle. He says Mac Jones is starting by week 3. I agree. I'm not saying Cam Newton's going to go out and be Cam Newton of old and go crazy, but there is something, at least for me, that agrees with the thought process of there's no rush to throw your rookie into the fire week 1.
There's no rush, but at the same time, if he is outperforming your current veteran, like Justin Fields, if Justin Fields is just head and shoulders above Andy Dalton, then there's no reason not to go with Justin Fields. The same goes for Mac Jones. If Mac Jones is just consistently outperforming Cam Newton, then go with Mac Jones, because Mac Jones knows what it's like to play on the big stage. He's not going to be rattled by that. He played at Alabama. He's played in national championship games. He knows how to deal with pressure. And from what I saw in that first preseason game, he moved very well within the pocket. He knows how to feel the pocket, where to move in it, where his exit points are in the pocket, how to step up to avoid pressure and buy himself time. Those are things that when you're looking at rookie quarterbacks, that's one of the main things I look at, is how do they do in kind of a muddied pocket? Can they feel pressure? And can they move around without taking their eyes off going downfield? And from what I've seen from Mac Jones, he does that about as good as anybody.
He's pretty polished. I think it's Cam Newton's job to lose, and Mac Jones will eventually get thrown in there. And like our friend John says on Twitter, thinking around week 3. So Spurs Summer League wrapped up. We talked about Weiskamp, who just signed his 2-way deal. Or he hasn't signed it yet. It's not official, but reports are saying he's going to sign a 2-way deal. So congratulations to him. We talked Josh Primo, 12th overall pick. Saw a lot of good things. Wish we saw him more, but it's understandable. We're a month and 10 days away from training camp.
It's not understandable.
I get where you're going with that. I'll say why it's understandable in a second. And then obviously Trey Jones played great. Unfortunately, he had that concussion in protocol in Utah, and then he probably got reconcussed when he got a forearm on a jump ball to his head. But there were still plenty of other Spurs worth talking about. And I don't want to start on a negative point, but I was really hoping Scalabissiere would show a little bit more. I was bummed out. He was somebody that I was hoping maybe gave some team an opportunity to say there's still something there at 25 years old. Former guy that was projected top 10 in his class, didn't really do too much at Kentucky, then fell to the end of the first round. Was he traded for Rodrigue Beaubois? Was that how long ago that was? That might be way too long ago. I can't remember the exact specifics on that.
That is a random trade to bring up. Rodrigue Beaubois.
Yeah, that was a while ago. And that's what happens when you draft these kids at 19. All of a sudden they're 25 and they've been out of the league 3 years. So that was somebody who I expected a little bit more out of. I wish I had seen more. You expect to see him in
Austin?
We'll see. It's possible. The Spurs Summer League, or any team Summer League, is a good path to that team's G League affiliate.
Because let's face it, we know what the roster is basically going to be comprised of. So we're not really nitpicking a whole lot of, is Devin Vassell going to get some? No, we know the roster's got 17. They need to cut it down. We know basically who's going, and they've got basically, after Bryn Forbes and Jock Landale sign, one open spot to bring into training camp.
No,
it's 20, right?
I don't think there's any limit on your roster, what you can bring into training camp. Maybe it's 20.
I think it's 20.
But still, at the same time, you got to whittle that down to 15
Sure.
by opening day.
But my point is, we're not making a whole lot of headway talking about, who's going to make it to Spurs training camp. Who on that we saw in Vegas is going to make it to Austin? That's the real question.
That's what I'm getting at here, because these are potential Austin Spurs guys that the Spurs maybe think was worth keeping around. Malik Newman had a great summer league, which doesn't happen if Josh Primo is playing a majority of the minutes. When Primo was gone, Malik Newman had some pretty good games. Also, Daquan Jeffries, who was on the Spurs roster going into Vegas, they reportedly, not officially, waived him at some point during the week of the Spurs being in Vegas. He showed off a little bit of stuff. He's listed as a guard forward at 6'5". He kind of seemed like he was maybe 6'4", 6'3" to me, but he can finish above the rim. I love his athleticism. I love the NBA physicality and size he brings if he develops a jump shot.
Does Breakfast Taco make it to Austin?
Yes, I think if Justin Robinson so chose to be on the Spurs, Austin Spurs, there's maybe even a chance he gets called up, because he has potential as a rim protector, a rebounder. We were joking that they were joking on Channing Frye was saying he has a 7'8" wingspan, and it's not far off from that. He is a big wingspan. David Robinson himself said that he's put on 20 pounds while playing professionally in Serbia and Montenegro. So he is somebody that I would love to see on the Austin Spurs, because he sort of fits that new era small ball center. And if he ever were just a phone call away, he might get some minutes for a team looking for that kind of player. It's a very niche chess piece player, but he showed enough that I don't know if he's a floor spacer, but he is a rim protector. He is a rebounder. It seems like he can switch and defend multiple positions. I was impressed by how well Justin Robinson played. They list him at 6'9", 200. I think he's somewhere closer to around 225, 230.
And if you're talking about small ball bigs, PJ Tucker, obviously one, except he's more of a floor spacer than Justin is. But you could look at someone like Rashawn Holmes. He's a bit undersized to play the 5, but does it very well. High motor guy, around the rim, defense, doesn't have much of an outside shot, but he has found a niche in what he does in Sacramento and just got a pretty good contract this offseason.
Not a bad comparison, and there's still plenty of potential there. Justin Robinson, only 24 years old. Last player that impressed me, Jalen Morse. He's a 6'5" guard.
You mentioned Malik. Do you think he showed well enough to where Austin might not be a thing, but another team brings him into camp?
Yes, there's things called Exhibit 10 deals, which mean that if you sign with the NBA team training camp and it's an Exhibit 10, it's almost saying we're going to waive you before the season starts, but we like you enough to keep you around on our G League team. It's probably a fair amount of guaranteed money, and it's also a guaranteed spot in the G League, and another team saying that we might want to call you up should we get bitten by the injury bug. So yeah, there's some potential 17th, 18th minute on the roster here. You never know if they get some two-way deals in there. I'm interested in the future of the Summer Spurs, but that's why you're not playing Josh Primo, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones every single game, because this roster is loaded with guys that are on the Summer League just to get their next gig, which it probably won't be with the Spurs, but it could be with somebody if they show out enough. And if the Spurs just played their guys the whole time, no one's going to sign with them worth much value next year.
Are you disappointed you didn't get to see Luka while the Summer League happened?
No, he's recovering from a broken hand, which could have a 4-month recovery time, and I'm fine letting that thing heal all the way up. I would love to watch Luka. I love watching Luka play basketball. Šamanić, that is, and Doncic, but Šamanić.
More so Doncic.
Doncic is a lot of fun, not going to lie. I was a fan of Doncic like when he was a 17-year-old in Real Madrid, and it broke my heart that he was traded from Atlanta. I was like, I can be an Atlanta fan on the side. I can't be a Mavs fan on the side.
Why not?
No, not a Mavs fan. I can enjoy Doncic. I can't cheer for the Mavs. But hey, he got himself a bag. A few other NBA players got themselves bags. We'll get into that. This is halftime. Real quick, before we head out, I want to ask your favorite breakfast taco.
Ooh, mine?
Yeah.
I like carne asada.
It's Taco Tuesday. We're going to have to get some carne asada. All right. I just made jackfruit carne asada.
Don't do that. Nope. You're not forcing your cult on me.
I'm going to bring it in. You won't even know the difference by the time we master it down.
You're not going to tell me about the Lord and Savior vegan jackfruit.
All right. I know you're a Marvel fan. We got Marvel to talk about. We got a lot coming on the later half of halftime. It's San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is the place where time stands still. With each down, there's a battle of inches.
How about 83 yards from Prescott to Elliott?
This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
The Houston Astros started a 4-game series in Kansas City last night, falling to the Royals 7-6 in the opener. Jose Altuve went 3 of 5 and scored a run, while Jake Odorizzi picked up loss in a start to forget, throwing 5 in the third innings, allowing 4 runs off 8 hits. The Rangers enjoyed an off day Monday and returned to action tonight to host the first of a 3-game series versus the Seattle Mariners. Taylor Hearn is expected to get the start for Texas with the first pitch scheduled for 7:05. That game can be heard right here on San Antonio Sports Star. And the Mission start a 6-game series in Corpus tonight against the Hooks with their first pitch slated for 6:35. Those are your baseball headlines. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
Stop living with that awful joint pain and don't let them tell you that surgery is your only option. Hey, it's James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star here, excited to tell you about QC Kinetics right here in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills. QC Kinetics is the leader in biologic therapies, regenerative solutions that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips. Patients here are raving about getting lasting results from QC Kinetics. Call now to learn more at 210-571-0318. If you have chronic joint pain, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Learn more about new biologic therapy options now available here. Restorative, regenerative joint treatments for joint pain. Finally, call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics at 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Get your life back without pain. 210-571-0318.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. Don't look back and wish that you had taken action. Call 833-8ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Some people treat investing like a game, but Marcus by Goldman Sachs approaches investing in a smart way with digitally managed portfolios that leverage Goldman Sachs strategies. So, do you want to play games or do you want your money to work smart? You can money. Visit Marcus.com to learn more about saving, borrowing, and investing from Marcus by Goldman Sachs.
Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Brokerage and investment advisory services by Goldman Sachs & Company, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Lending and deposits products provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
When Paul Goodall started shopping for an engagement ring, he knew one thing. He didn't want to be pressured.
Because I'm not going to make a purchase at that level without understanding what I'm buying.
But the first store he went to, that's what happened.
They wanted me to buy. They didn't want me to learn. And that didn't work for me.
But then Paul found Diamonds Direct.
The exact opposite happened when I went into Diamonds Direct. There was no rush. There was no pressure. They wanted to give me the information that I was asking for.
At Diamonds Direct, it's different. No games, no pressure, no nonsense.
It wasn't like, well, let's do something now. We got to do it now because we got this thing going on, or maybe you want to do that. No, it was here's the information that you need to make an educated decision.
Paul learned how to buy a diamond like a dealer buys. He was taught how diamonds are graded and priced on the world market, and he was shown dozens of diamonds in his price range so he could make the decision that was right for him, his budget, and his soon-to-be fiancé.
What they do is they give you the information that you need so that you end up buying what you want. I am such a big fan of Diamonds Direct.
Diamonds Direct, official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys, and to shops at La Cantera.
Hi, welcome to Smoky Mo's.
At Smoky Mo's Barbecue, we smoke our meats fresh, in-house, each and every day. We think it makes all the difference in the quality of our moist, flavorful brisket and turkey, and the mouth-watering tenderness of our ribs and pork loin. Got a crowd? We've got group packs and full-service catering. Up early? We've got made-to-order breakfast tacos. Find your store at SmokyMo'sBarbecue.com and come see us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Smoky Mo's Barbecue. The pit is lit.
23 days until the Dallas Cowboys kick off the NFL season against the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers on your home for the Dallas Cowboys all season long. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hi, it's Jason Minix from the Blitz. You're listening to San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Carl Schoening. He's James Pledger. It's probably your lunch break. We're happy you spent it with us, whether you're listening on our frequencies over the radio or you're one of the countless many watching us on Facebook Live, YouTube, or San Antonio Sports, SASportsStar.com. Now, I'm a binge watcher of a whole bunch of things, and you and I have a shared common fandom of Marvel. And and you did get to see episode 1 of What If, right? The one with Captain Carter?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
That was a great one.
Now, we have almost a rare thing. The last time I can remember something like this was Heath Ledger's Joker, where we're going to see something. It's going to be released this week, and the main actor is dead. And you know a lot more about it. I just accept things as they come to me. You've researched this beforehand. Chadwick Boseman is doing, he's coming back into this Marvel universe in What If, still as King T'Challa, correct?
He'll be T'Challa, and the What If revolves around what if it was T'Challa, not Peter Quill, that was taken by Yondu and became Star-Lord.
Really?
Yeah. So this is going to take T'Challa into the realm of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Was Yondu drunk or something?
I'm not sure. I'll have to see how it plays out tomorrow.
That's a pretty big difference there. You get the you have the son of an alien versus the son of a king in Wakanda. That
or is T'Challa the ego's son? Is that part of what happened, and that's why T'Challa was taken in this universe. I'm not sure, but as you alluded to, it will be a posthumous performance by Chadwick Boseman as he is reprising his role as T'Challa and Star-Lord and the voice of Black Panther for this What If series. He'll be in tomorrow night's episode, as well as episodes 5, 8, and 9, which are the final episodes and the final performances of the now late Chadwick Boseman as he will wrap up his tenure as T'Challa.
Man, it's sad to see him go because he had so many great roles, great movies. He was Jackie Robinson. He was James Brown. He was in that one movie, Draft Day, as a running back.
21 Bridges.
I want to see that one.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which he got heavily Oscar acclaimed for.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I think it was on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
See, that's going to be added to the proverbial list. I have a proverbial list of ongoing things that I forget about. I need to actually write them down on a Google document or something. But there are plenty of things that I need to do. Yes, Beat says on YouTube, RIP Chadwick. That was sad when that happened. That was back in August, and nobody knew that he was suffering from cancer. So
not a clue.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these final episodes of What If and watching some of those that I missed, because I do want to definitely catch 21 Bridges.
Mm-hmm. And we've got Hard Knocks coming out tonight, training camp with the Dallas Cowboys, as we get to continually look for our friends at the Star, whether it is Rudy J, who attached himself to Tyan Secchi like nobody's business in an attempt to get onto the show, Jason Minix, or Rob Thompson, and play spot the San Antonio Sports Star at training camp.
We should make that like a bingo game.
I think it should be a drinking game.
The drinking? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a better idea. Drinking game. All right. If you can find all three, though, you have to finish.
Ooh. That would be a good one. Hopefully they just pan by quickly where they were set up on the tennis courts in Oxnard to where they're all sitting at the table at one point, so people just got to finish their entire drink.
And real quick, Synopsis of Titans. That's another one you told me during the break.
Yeah. You said that you binged the first season.
Really liked it.
Second season's really good. This third season is incredible. They dropped the first 3 episodes of it on Thursday. So it's the day after What If, and now it's going to be a weekly release from here on out. So these first 3 episodes, that final episode of it, I was pacing. I couldn't sit during it. It was that nerve-wracking.
That's DC, right?
Yeah. And it's this season they're incorporating the Red Hood storyline, which, if you know comics, is the death of the second Robin, Jason Todd, and his reemergence as the persona of the Red Hood. And he's a vigilante turned anti-hero at some point in the comics, but it is a really Under the Red Hood and Death in the Family are 2 really great storylines that DC did, and their adaptation of doing this without the ability to use Batman per se. Like, they have Bruce Wayne in it. They're doing this season in Gotham instead of San Francisco, and there are rogues galleries from Batman, but it's not a Batman story, and their ability to tell this story without that is been incredible to this point.
Well, it's a good time if you're a superhero fan to have all this content. We just need more Star Wars stuff. I'm annoyed that Disney hasn't produced more Star Wars stuff.
Oh, they've got it. I mean, Bad Batch is going on right now on Disney Plus, and then don't forget, Mandalorian season 3 is on the horizon. You've got the Ahsoka show, in which they debuted Ahsoka Tano's live action debut during the Mandalorian this past season. So she's going to get her own spinoff, and Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor are reprising their roles in the Kenobi series, in which it follows Obi-Wan's kind of desolate years on Tatooine as a protector and hiding out from the Galactic Empire and Darth Vader, and trying to keep a watchful eye over Luke Skywalker as he was growing up on Tatooine. So it's Disney's, they've got it, man. Don't worry, the Star Wars content's out there and it's coming.
I can't wait. This is the perfect time for streaming, and I haven't watched live TV unless it's sports in a long time, because there's just too much good content streaming, and it's just fun, especially when sometimes we need to be in our house a little bit more often. Sometimes I'm too tired to go out and do things, so that's cool. We have some NBA news to get into when we come back. Halftime here on San Antonio. We love our NBA. Deshaun Watson, some players got some bags, and an alligator attack. All coming up. This is your midday break. This is your halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Dallas Cowboys live here all season long. Every snap.
I love it.
Every catch.
Let's go have a day, huh?
Every touchdown. Plus, we'll give you the complete breakdown and preview of every game from our experts. Dallas Cowboys insiders and head coach Mike McCarthy. We're all fans.
Yeah! Yeah!
Hear the call from Brad Sham and the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
O'Reilly. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help with all your car care needs. Whether you're shopping for parts, accessories, or supplies, we've got you covered. Right now, get Superior Coverall Tire Shine 2 for $16. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Keep your car looking like new. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's like I blinked and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide, and we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority you.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMSS was our answer. HIMSS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/love. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMSS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/love. That's forhims.com/love for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/LOVE.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening. Halftime. Call into the show on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 656-ESPN. That's 656-3776.
That's right. It's halftime. I'm Carl Schoening. He's James Pledger. It's half 2 of halftime. You can call in on that Kielbasa Bacon phone line. If you missed it, it is 210-656-ESPN. For those of you who don't know where the letters are on your touch-tone dial pad, it's 656-3776. Dallas Cowboys continue their preseason as they welcome the Houston Texans into AT&T Stadium on Saturday night. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock, and you can catch that game right here on your home for the Dallas Cowboys, starting at a 6 o'clock pregame. Dallas Cowboys football on San Antonio Sports Stars brought to you by Ewald Kubota. Got a lot of Cowboys just to kind of philosophically talk about a little later in the hour. Got some Deshaun Watson we'll get into as well. Plenty of NBA players signed some contract extensions that, man, I want to sniff that money. At some point in my life, I just like 1% of that. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe 2%, maybe 10.
2%? 1%? 2%? How much of a percentage do you want?
Well, it's talking about Joel Embiid's 4 years, $196 million. Pretty sure that it's at least 1% of that. That'd be cool.
I mean, I'd take a percentage of Steph Curry's 4 years, $215 million.
Just ridiculous money.
Saying.
No,
as long as we're
agree.
taking percent, as long as we're just like China and claiming percentages of people's.
That's true. Yeah. Well, we're gonna say that those are our gold medals over there. China, a little upset that they lost the gold medal count by 1. Went ahead and said, what was it? Taiwan and Hong Kong are also part of China. So
Chinese,
now,
Taipei, Hong Kong.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden it's they have more gold medals officially in the 2021 Olympics, or is it the 2020 Olympics?
It's the 2020 Olympics held in 2021.
Okay. A lot of sports teams did that where they didn't actually change the season to say it's the delayed 2020 season. It's just the 2020 season. Other fun news. We have the NBA national TV schedule coming out today. That'll be released on The Jump at 2 o'clock. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and switch on over to the mothership at some point after this show.
Already got a snippet of what's coming.
We do.
Christmas Day, baby.
That'll be fun. We'll talk about that in Carl's Countdown. Stick around for that. I give you today's headlines. The Spurs wrapped up their Summer League. A loss to the Thunder, 116-91. Yeah, I'm ready for Summer League to be over. We have training camp coming up in a month and a half. We're going to be giving out the NBA schedule here soon. We can dive into the actual games that are going to be played.
Month and a half. Training camp's here, man.
NBA training camp.
Oh, that
NBA
one.
training camp.
Yeah, we're shifting focus. It's football. It's football season now. Summer League's over. Trade deadline's over. It's all over. We're good.
If preseason football were as real as NBA preseason, then I would be more excited. But I don't think we're going to see any of the Dallas offensive players out there for NFL preseason, and I wouldn't if I were Mike McCarthy. Deshaun Watson's probably not going to be playing any for the Texans, and so you get to figure out who the next quarterback is for the Texans.
He's not going to play all year long.
You really think they're just going to hold him out until he gets moved, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do not foresee an instance in which they let him step onto the field unless, of course, they're absolutely trying to force the NFL's hand. That would be the only reason. But Deshaun himself, rumored have been that he will never suit up for them again. So even if they try and force him, I'm not sure if Deshaun would actually take the field. And I'm not sure how much they want to put him out there because you put him at risk of injury. And when you're trying to trade someone, an injured asset is a devalued asset.
Absolutely. I get that side of the argument 100%. And you're a Texans fan. You have your fingers a little more on the pulse than I do. I just thought there maybe was some way of him getting out there and playing a couple games, but it's a foregone conclusion that he's gone. And that's a shame because that's the first franchise quarterback for the Texans.
Yeah, it hurts more because of he wanted out before all the allegations, but then the allegations just muddied everything to a point of most Houston fans, they may cling to hope, but at the same time, most are just done with the entire situation and would like to see him moved at some point, which is a crying shame for how long this city has waited for a franchise quarterback, considering they hadn't had one since basically Steve McNair left town.
It's true. Tim Tebow got cut. He could have been a franchise quarterback for the Texans at some point.
Hey, if you're going to tear it down to the studs, bring him in. Let's do it. You got a tight end and emergency quarterback. Let's do it.
You really want that first overall pick if you're signing Tim Tebow to be your quarterback after he gets cut trying to be a tight end.
I absolutely want that first overall pick. I'm doing everything in my power to get it. I'm going full Houston Rocket on this thing.
That's what you got to do. You got to sign Tim Tebow. And you know what? Tebow would mess that up. He would somehow lead the Texans to an 8-9 record. That would be the most Tim Tebow thing of all time.
It really would.
The Texans are like, you know what? We really want to show that we're tanking. Tebow, come on over. And through the grace of God, Tim Tebow will win 8 games.
That would be, I don't know if it's the grace of God or if it's the devil just continually ripping on the city of Houston and their football team's franchise in terms of trying to get the number 1 overall pick actively and then ending up somewhere in the middle of the pack when it's all said and done.
Tebow had this weird X factor about him that he wasn't a good quarterback, but somehow he was a winning quarterback. That's a weird thing in the NFL. If you're a good quarterback, like a Sam Bradford, I thought Sam Bradford was a good quarterback, but he wasn't a winning quarterback. If you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
There's that it factor. It's something that can't actually be measured in any advanced analytics stat or anything on a normal box score. It's Tim Tebow. It's Tebow time. I remember Tebow time.
Do you remember Tebow time?
Just a little bit. Those Florida teams were stacked. He's a little overrated as a college player, but he somehow won a playoff game or two, and good for him.
Wow,
and
shots fired.
What? Overrated?
Well, overrated as a player, as a college player. I thought he was one of the best college players I'd ever seen.
He, again, he knew how to be a winner. I don't know if he's necessary. He was a really good football player. I don't know if he was a good quarterback. And he had a really good Florida team.
Yes. Both of those statements are true. He had a great team around him at Florida, and he knew how to win football games, and there was something to it. And people followed him. I don't want this to be taken out of context, but there's a lot of Dak Prescott in that.
No, I agree.
And the team rallying around their quarterback and basically becoming the best versions of themselves, like him willing a team. And you see that with Dak Prescott and his effect on the huddle with the Dallas Cowboys and how he brings that team together on both sides of the ball.
There is an intangible of leadership that can never really be undervalued, but you don't really know if somebody has it or not until they're thrusted into a situation where they need to be a leader. So that's the end of our Tebow conversation, but congratulations to Tim Tebow. Amazing athletic career. Can't wait to see what he does next. Maybe it's tennis. Could be basketball.
Badminton.
Ooh.
I saw that in the Olympics.
He'd be good at that.
So he got the lateral quickness.
He's probably still an elite athlete, but at 33 in the NFL, he's not a good enough athlete to be whatever he wanted to be exactly. I imagine if you put him with almost any other 33-year-old, whether it's CrossFit or most other places.
He'd be a great CrossFit athlete.
He should go to CrossFit. Yeah. There you
go,
Tim Tebow.
He could win the CrossFit Games.
Free advice for Tim Tebow. Go win the CrossFit Games. That'd be great for him.
Bring some light to the sport of CrossFit. Bring those camera angles. Bring the reporters in.
Tebow is a ratings booster no matter what he does. You know what also boosts ratings?
The countdown?
Headlines, exactly. Let's jump into it. I'm I'm just going to read this tweet straight from Woj. Plenty of discussion on The Jump that comes up right after this show on the mothership if you're watching cable on ESPN. Today, unveiling the Christmas Day games, including what sources say are Trey Young and the Atlanta Hawks returning to play New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden, plus the battle of the East versus West Titans, the probable finals, if you will, the Brooklyn Nets versus the Los Angeles Lakers at Staples Center. And that's usually a 5 or 6 game slate. So there's a few more games that'll be coming out, and all the nationally televised games. The Jump will be worth tuning into today.
It will be. And when you look at the Nets and Lakers, if you had to pick one of those teams, only one of them, to be in the finals, which one do you feel more confident about?
Nets. They'll be healthy.
Is it the firepower or is it the way the team's constructed?
It's both. They're a very well-constructed team. I think they have everything they need to be an unstoppable juggernaut offensive force. And if they don't want to play defense, that's fine. But James Harden is a much improved defensive player. Gone are the days where he's fallen asleep. He took that criticism to heart, and he became a pretty good defensive player. I think 2 years ago, he was first in guards on blocks.
I'm glad to hear somebody eventually give James Harden his credit, because the past couple of years, he has been a much improved defender. And people forget, if not for the way that he defended a couple years ago in the bubble, they would have lost in the first round against Oklahoma City. But he had an impressive keep the pass from coming, step out block on Dort to basically win that series.
He is an above average defender, and it's finally time people accept that. It's so 2013 to say James Harden can't defend.
Doesn't play defense.
Yes, absolutely. Headline 1. Second-year linebacker T.J. Brunson and defensive back Joshua Kalu sustained major injuries during the New York Giants' preseason loss to the Jets. That comes out yesterday. No idea how long they're out for. Both of them are probable season-ending injuries. We'll have to see how it ends up. But this is why the NFL preseason just needs to be done away with. If any contributors are out there just trying to get those reps, even if they're second-round fringe or second-string fringe starters, that's not what you want to see. You don't want to see a couple potential contributors go down in the preseason, meaningless football.
And this goes even more so to my point about the Dallas Cowboys and everybody wanting to see Dak Prescott play on Saturday against the Texans. No, just get him to week 1 against the Buccaneers on Thursday night to open the season. Make sure that you start this season as healthy as possible. You just lost Neville Gallimore for at least a month. Keep your starters healthy, and especially Dak Prescott, who is dealing with an injury already. Do not force him into game action that is unnecessary.
Jerry Jones needs to spend something of his $1 billion to cryogenically freeze those players until week 1.
Wow.
Don't even let them have a chance to injure themselves in practice like Dak did back at the end of July.
That feels excessive.
It is excessive. Something Jerry Jones might do, though.
I believe he will cryogenically freeze himself at some point.
I believe that, too. Side note, I heard a conspiracy theory that the movie Frozen was just so anytime somebody Googled Disney Frozen, that movie popped up instead of Walt Disney, apparently conspiracy theory being Frozen. Right? Doesn't that make sense?
Was it Ted Williams Frozen too?
I think so. I don't know. I can't say that for a fact. All right, headline 0. This was the trade in the NBA today. Get this. Pat Beverly is traded twice in 2 days. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading Patrick Beverly to Minnesota for Jarrett Culver and Juancho Hernan-Gomez, sources tell Adrian Wojnarowski. Those are your headlines, and we'll talk about that one. Patrick Beverly is somebody who doesn't make sense playing behind Ja Morant and Rajon Rondo.
And Dylan
Brooks, too. Yeah. And those guys, they have their spots in the rotation. Rondo, I guess if you're going to keep one of them, he's not a bad choice to keep. Patrick Beverly had trade value. Jarrett Culver was the 6th overall pick a couple years ago. He's only 22 years old. Juanacho Hernan-Gomez is not a bad player.
No.
So,
I like this trade for both teams, but I especially like it for Minnesota in terms of you're bringing in somebody that is going to bring a level of intensity, especially defensively, in Patrick Beverly. For a guy with Karl Anthony Towns and you pair him with Anthony Edwards, it's a team that feels like they're trying to put the right veteran pieces kind of around just to change the culture of what has happened over the past 10, 15 years in Minnesota.
What is Patrick Beverly's pre-workout? I'm pretty sure it's rabies. he looks like a rabid dog.
Is that on the ban list?
I don't think it is. I think that's why he can get away with it. He looks like a rabid dog out there, the way he defends. He is a get after it, get in your face, don't give you any breathing room, on-ball defender that will be good influence, I assume, on Anthony Edwards. That's their star guard. He was drafted 1st overall last year. He should have probably won Rookie of the Year.
Did you happen to know Patrick Beverly's nickname when he was with the Houston Rockets?
Lay it on me.
The Badger.
That makes sense. I agree with that.
You're very unaware of nicknames throughout most of the league.
I'm not a fan of nicknames.
Why not?
I can't use them when I'm doing play-by-play. If I'm ever talking like during the game, because I was a play-by-play guy before all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say, post up for the big fundamental.
Well, in certain situations, you heard the big fundamental, or you would hear Jordan or Harold Miner back in the day, Baby Jordan. Like, you would hear a nickname every. Rain Man throws it down in reference to Sean Kemp on the broadcast. I mean, you've heard nicknames. They don't go overboard and use it every single time, but situationally it works.
I guess I'm a little bit more straight cut on that, but I do need to learn more nicknames. In fact, what was somebody gave Tim Duncan a little bit of flack because they thought that nobody ever called him the big fundamental, and that was Shaq's nickname for Tim. So I do need to be up on nicknames a lot more than that. Out of all those headlines, though, I'm most excited about the NBA schedule coming out, because that means, or at least the national TV schedule and all the Christmas games, because that means we're maybe a week or two away from the final schedule being released once they get all of those dates hammered out.
Start counting up the wins and losses and see where Vegas is at with their win-loss total.
How much does this schedule suck? Those kinds of things.
How many back-to-backs?
Yeah, back-to-backs. Is it backloaded? The Spurs used to be really backloaded when they were contenders, and they had all those nationally televised games after championship weekend, because obviously nobody competes against the Super Bowl, so the Super Bowl's off. But once the AFC and NFC championship games are done, that's when usually the NBA starts some of the high-class matchups, because we're 50 games into the season, and now is the time for that second matchup between the Lakers and the Nets. You want to get those Buck-Nets games later in the season. That might be where 2 or 3 of those are played. The Lakers obviously going up against some of the Western Conference powerhouses. I foresee the Spurs season being a little more balanced than it was when they were contenders. They're going to see random Tuesday nights that aren't on national television against the Lakers.
A Tuesday night in Milwaukee.
Probably.
Now, as it pertains to the NBA's schedule, what matchups are you most looking forward to this coming season? Not just Spurs, but across the league, because let's face it, I don't know how many Spurs matchups are. Oh, I can't wait to see that game.
Knicks and Atlanta is one of those Christmas Day games. That'll be fun again, but I really want to see the 76ers just obliterate Atlanta, because that should not have been a 5-game series victory for the Hawks. If Joel Embiid is healthy, they dominate the Hawks. You could clearly tell that Embiid was playing at 60%, maybe less. He couldn't jump backwards. He couldn't backpedal. I give him a standing ovation for attempting to go out there for that series, but Joel Embiid was not 100%. I thought he was going to be out the entire series. And in a weird way, especially knowing what we know now that they lost in 5 games, it would have been preferable to let Ben Simmons be that dude. And maybe this offseason isn't all high drama for Philadelphia. Not saying they would have won the series if Ben Simmons was the main player and Embiid was out, but that's certainly the way Simmons ended up playing, being so bad, not taking that many shots. Embiid was really forcing it out there. You could see he was laboring. I would have, in hindsight, obviously, not in the heat of the moment, preferred if Ben Simmons got all of those superstar reps. You sort of let him fail, but still build his confidence as a superstar player instead of what eventually became of him, where he passed up an open dunk that was big. Ben Simmons, unfortunately, there's some news. We'll get into that a little later, or at least a report. Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report. I don't know how connected he is, but he is entertaining on Twitter.
Now, you are a Sixers fan. For those of you that don't know, you like Philadelphia 76ers, you like the Philadelphia Eagles, you are a Philly sports fan.
Correct.
Tyrese Maxey balled out this summer league.
He's untouchable.
I'm aware that he's untouchable. I'm wondering what your optimism for next year, seeing his ascension through summer league, going into next season with the Sixers, and what his potential role could be, especially if Ben Simmons is moved.
Well, if Ben Simmons is moved, it might depend on what comes back in return, but he could be the 6th man on this 76ers team. Happy to have Danny Green back. Shake Milton's going to return. Seth Curry. Tobias Harris is the highest paid player on the team next year. Joel Embiid just signed that 4-year Supermax for $196 million.
I think he's the highest paid player on the team.
Oh, eventually that's going to be a $50 million a year deal. But Tyrese Maxey is really good. If all of a sudden, say it's Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal that come in, Tyrese Maxey's still that 6th man. Say another team just throws a whole bunch of good players, role players, maybe Tyrese Maxey is somewhere around 7 or 8th, but he's going to be a good player, and I'm happy they picked him up. I believe he's a Houston prospect too, out of Houston, Tyrese Maxey.
Yep. So you don't think that if they trade Simmons, you think the pieces that they would get would push him further down? You don't think what you saw, not just from his performance during the season last year, but his growth throughout the summer and in the summer league and how he's dominated that league, would lead to him being a more integral piece to that team? And I'm not saying like 6 man's not an integral piece, but like to where he is one of, you talk about Embiid, you talk about Tobias Harris being leading scorer. You don't see him being one of those leading type scoring guards.
He's going to have to pass up minutes from Furkan Korkmaz, who they just signed for a 3-year, $15 million deal. Danny Green. I would put him in that second unit almost regardless of what happens with Ben Simmons. He might be the best player on that second unit.
Sure.
And we'll have to see. But it would be really cool if maybe they started him. It's just a question mark as to what happens, because Ben Simmons is adamant that he is the starting point guard. You got to play Seth Curry. You got to play Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. And then do you maybe waste Tyrese Maxey by not maximizing his scoring because he needs the ball in his hands to score?
And don't get me wrong, it's not about whether he starts or not. It's about the way he contributes to the overall team aspect in terms of his points or usage. Like Manu Ginobili didn't start, but there was no doubt that he was a focal point of the Spurs as an offense and what they did.
Absolutely. And that's almost the best role for him going into next year. He might be a starter one day, but He's still young. It's crazy how we want to thrust these guys into being in their third or fourth year when they're in their second year. And we're all guilty of wanting players to be the best versions of themselves. But sometimes we got to let it take time. At some point on halftime, we're going to talk Lonnie Walker. He's only 22, and he's going to be a great player. There were a couple other NBA signings today. We'll get into those as well as the Joel Embiid contract and an alligator attack.
What?
Yes. An alligator attack, not in the sports world. Nobody famous.
At the station?
Stay tuned. Find out. This is your midday break. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Rangers on the radio.
Here's the pitch and the ground ball left side. Diving Culberson, he's got it. Throws to second in time for the force on Walsh.
It's San Antonio's favorite addiction.
And there's a high drive, well hit left center field. Way back at the wall, Lewis and Trammell, and it is history. A 3-run Jimmy Jack for Adolis Garcia.
Go ahead. Have another hit. San Antonio's Sports Star. ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Paid for by CompleteCar.com. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1985 now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free rental car at no additional cost. Call for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1985. 800-549-1985. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-549-1985.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Now, Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 15 cents. And comp books, 24-pack Crayola crayons, and 8 packs of Pep Rally No. 2 pencils are 50 cents each. So you won't just be ready for school, you'll be Prepared Parent of the Year ready.
I just want to thank my family and Staples for making this possible.
Visit your local Staples or staples.com/back-to-school and get more than ready for school. Ends 8/21. Limit 30 except no limit on pencils. Pocket folder offer in-store only.
While most water providers do a pretty good job making sure they exceed EPA guidelines, did you know EPA standards for tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years? With growing concerns of our aging infrastructure, more homeowners want to take their water quality into their own hands. That is why you should call Alamo Water Softeners and have them give you a free water analysis. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
It's like I blinked and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now, my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide. And we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
It's the Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon, the annual year-long event where you can save big by bundling Home and Auto with Progressive. So big that we're kicking things off with fireworks, a monster truck battle, a fighter jet flyover, and it wouldn't be a party without the Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon dancers. You can't really hear them, but trust us, they are working it. So come for the fun and stay for the savings. Only at Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Stop. Stop living with that awful joint pain and don't let them tell you that surgery is your only option. Hey, it's James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star here, excited to tell you about QC Kinetics right here in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills. QC Kinetics is the leader in biologic therapies, regenerative solutions that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips. Patients here are raving about getting lasting results from QC Kinetics. Call now to learn more at 210-571-0318. If you have chronic joint pain, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Learn more about new biologic therapy options now available here. Restorative, regenerative joint treatments for joint pain. Finally, Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics at 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Get your life back without pain. 210-571-0318.
It's halftime with Rob Thompson and Carl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Carl Schoening. James Pledger joining us on the show. He's my co-host. Happy to have him in. Rob Thompson working the double shift today. Jason Minnick's still out on the blitz, so Rob will take you all the way to, what is it, 6:30 today?
6:30 today.
That's
Luckily,
right.
He's not working the telethon hours today.
Yeah. If he had tried to do the show, I would have told him, no, go take a nap, dude.
You did this yesterday.
Why? He just did 3 shows yesterday, decided he was going to. I told him he didn't need to do the show yesterday. He still did because he's a radio guy, Rob Thompson. I hope he is sleeping right now. Maybe he'll catch us on our podcasts. You can go to our audio vault, the AA Best Bail Bonds audio vault, to catch anything you might have missed. That's on sasportstar.com, where you can also watch any of our local shows live. You might be joining us on Facebook Live or YouTube or the good old magic of radio, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Some NBA players got paid in the last 24 hours. Marcus Smart agrees to a 4-year, $77 million extension with the Boston Celtics. He is the heart and soul of that team, the emotional leader. He gets the people going in that city. He's a better Patrick Beverly.
Marcus Smart always felt like a San Antonio Spur to me.
He could have.
He felt like a Spurs type player in terms of tenacity on the court, his indoctrinance into a team, the way he does the little things. Like, he just felt Spurs-esque in terms of the title years, the glory years of the San Antonio Spurs.
Pop would have loved to coach him at any point, I imagine. Somebody who gets after it like that. He's an effective offensive player. He might not be the unstoppable Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, but he puts up solid field goal numbers.
For Pop, it's more about what he does on the other side of the court, though.
Everybody has to play defense if you're in San Antonio. Josh Hart, a restricted free agent, signs a 3-year, $38 million deal to remain with the Pelicans. Good for him. Congratulations, Josh Hart. They lost Lonzo Ball, but they keep Josh Hart. And they just lost Anthony Davis. I guess, if I'm not mistaken, part of that Lonzo Ball deal to Chicago that was not part of the DeMar DeRozan deal, but that's part of the Bulls offseason. I think Devontae Graham ended up in New Orleans out of all of that. So Devontae Graham, who is a really good player, a really good player for Charlotte Hornets, obviously a little bit redundant with LaMelo Ball winning Rookie of the Year. They didn't want to have a logjam there, so I can't recall what Charlotte got exactly for that deal to send Devontae Graham down there, but the Pelicans, losing one of those pieces for Anthony Davis when they lost Lonzo Ball, did retain another one, and that's Josh Hart.
And then your man secured the bag.
Joel Embiid deserves every cent of that $196 million he signed with. And unlike his last contract, where there were some stipulations if he were to miss any games because of a back injury that he sustained earlier in his career or a foot injury, this is all guaranteed. That man is the franchise cornerstone, should have won the MVP.
Not for injury.
I understand the thought process of if he played more games, he didn't play enough. Nikola Jokic is great, but
Jokic?
Yeah, Jokic. Sorry, I'm thinking of Yeah, thank you. I was thinking of Djokovic.
I got something for you here.
Thank you.
In the break.
Joker's great, but Joel Embiid getting 4 years, $196 million. I can't call it a steal because that's a supermax, But that is the franchise cornerstone. He's 27 years old. If he's healthy for the majority of that run, hopefully he can be healthy when it counts in the playoffs. The 76ers have just as good a chance of winning a championship as anybody because he is the best player on that team.
Are you somewhat shocked by the fact that Lauri Markkanen is still a free agent, hasn't signed his tender, only has the $9 million restricted free agent tender offered to him to this point?
I'm amazed that somebody hasn't been creative. I don't know if Markkanen went into the offseason with a number in mind that his agent floated to him and he will refuse to take anything less. Because when you talk about it, a 4-year deal at $5 million less per year, that's $20 million you're leaving on the table that you were expecting to get if you're Markkanen. I just don't see where he can end up right now. Is it possible for the Spurs to do another sign and trade? That'd be cool.
I would hope so. That would just make my whole offseason. Like everything I wanted happened for the Rockets for the most part, and then some. Now, if the Spurs could somehow finish off this dream offseason of mine that was adding a ton of shooters, like Doug McDermott was one of the names I thrown out on top of Lauri Markkanen, who was on the top of my list, that would be just incredible. That would be the perfect way to cap off this entire offseason for Brian Wright, in my opinion. And I would love to see it. But I just don't understand. Him, Paul Millsap, Wes Matthews, Avery Bradley, these are all guys without homes currently still. JJ Redick, Demarcus Cousins, like this. I'm kind of shocked at the amount of talent still left out there this deep and past free agency.
That's an entire bench unit that you could sign in free agency right now. Markkanen is a fringe starter. When Vucevic came into the Bulls, he was moved to the bench. So depending on what forwards the team has in place, Markkanen could be a starter, could be a bench player, but he's a contributor for sure. A lot of those guys past their prime, but still have something left to give. Demarcus Cousins has been floating around with minimum contracts the last few years. Wes Matthews is a surprising one on there.
Because he played well, especially defensively for the Lakers, and he came up huge during the playoffs as well.
Gonna have to see what happens with those guys because maybe there's a couple big deals that are holding up these guys. They're gonna end up in somebody's training camp on a steal of a deal. Those will be steals of deals.
Surprised Jacques Landale and Brent Forbes still aren't signed.
In a way,
officially,
yeah. In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because there's just so many things going on with the Vegas Summer League. If that is going to be official anytime soon, I would imagine it would be sometime after Summer League wraps up. Well, I wonder if
Summer League wrapped up yesterday for the Spurs. I don't know if you heard.
That's what I was about to say. I wonder if any of the Spurs are just lingering around Vegas just because this is when the NBA decides to just invade Vegas. If you're on a roster right now for a Summer League team and a vet offers you to go out, you might be tempted to take that trap. They might have given you the wrong club, wrong time, but you gotta follow that vet and see if you can maybe try and become buddy pally with him and make the team. Just don't go too crazy. Try and make your bedtime. But yeah, this is the time when NBA just invades Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised if some Spurs stuck around or some Spurs personnel, just because there's other people there that you maybe don't get a chance to spend time with that you only see once or twice during the regular season. But congratulations to those players that got paid this week, and congratulations to Patrick Beverly for probably finding a place that he can at least rent an apartment at. Minnesota. Become friends with A-Rod, new owner of the Timberwolves.
It wouldn't be a bad friend to have, I don't think.
That's a good move to make. All right, I've been teasing it a lot. We got something coming up for you, an alligator attack coming from the most credible news source in the country. This is your midday.
San Antonio Sports Star?
No, we're not a credible news source like these guys. These guys are the most credible news source. Yeah, this is your midday
you're giving
break.
Us enough credit.
We don't break news like them. This is your midday break. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Texas Rangers baseball.
Leo 1. Joey looks to bunt toward third. Nobody there. Base hit. Joey Gallo.
Texas Rangers baseball happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The San Antonio Spurs Summer League play is over. Their final game in Vegas was one to forget as all three players on the official NBA roster, Trey Jones, Josh Primo, and Devin Vassell, were held out of the finale against the Oklahoma City Thunder Summer League team. 6th overall pick Josh Giddey also did not play for OKC. The final score was 116-91, Thunder picking up the win. The Spurs had Joe Weiskamp, Justin Turner, and Eric Dimmers all tie for team high 12 points, while Rob Edwards for the Thunder led all scorers with 23. The Spurs don't have much of an offseason left, with players scheduled to report to training camp September 28th. Those are your Spurs headlines. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/love. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/love. That's forhims.com/love for your free online visit. forhims.com/LOVE.
At CDW, we get the people who need to sign here aren't always here.
Tell me about it. I'm always chasing down signatures. I go through pens and shoes like chewing gum.
Sounds like you need Adobe Sign orchestrated by CDW to securely automate e-signatures and workflows across devices from anywhere. Integrating with existing tools, Sign can save your organization time, money, and miles.
Thank goodness. I can finally take these shoes off.
No. Back on. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Adobe Sign.
Guys love shopping at Diamonds Direct because they can always get a bigger, better diamond for less.
We got a higher quality diamond for less money than we looked at any other stores that we went to.
I even shopped down in Mexico, thinking maybe down in the Caribbean it would be better off, and nothing could be what I found here.
The value and the deal that you can get by cutting out the middleman.
You're certainly getting quality and price, which you don't find elsewhere.
But beyond the value, what guys really love about Diamonds Direct is they make it easy with transparency, education, guidance, and respect for you and your budget.
What I thought was going to be a stressful situation ended up being completely pleasant, enjoyable process from beginning to end.
For all the dudes out there, buying jewelry is difficult and stressful. Diamonds Direct eliminates all that.
If you're looking for zero hassle, zero high-pressure sales techniques, Diamonds Direct is the place to go.
Discover a truly guy-friendly jewelry shopping experience.
I guarantee you that once you walk in these stores, you're not going to go anywhere else.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
When your AC fails in the San Antonio heat, there is no time to search. Save Service First in your contacts and have an AC tech on speed dial 24/7. Service First. Save us before you need us.
Have Service First in your phone, 521-1500.
If your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, get them fixed. Hi, Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they come to you to fix your brakes. We're all busy. None of us have time to go spend hours waiting at a repair shop or want to deal with the hassle of dropping your car off and going back to get it the next day. That is the beauty of New Brakes. They come to you. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs, and they only fix brakes, so you won't get the upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. They use premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go to nubrakes.com. Schedule that repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. You need your brakes done? Get them done with New Brakes. You continue to do what you do while New Brakes fixes your brakes, and they're great at what they do. Go read all the 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
Farming demands well-built equipment. Kubota equipment that's proven for over a century. Tractors that are adaptable and versatile. Hay tools backed by a 2-year warranty. Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. And productive SSV skid steers. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
A 17-week season. And only one couch. Let's hope it holds up. The Cowboys are back. The explosive action happens here. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Opinions. We got them. Keep them coming. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
We're wrapping up halftime. Going to send you on to the second half of your day. I'm Carl Schoening. He's James Pledger. You can hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Carl with a K. Carl ESPN. Pledger is I am Pledger. You might be watching us on SASportsStar.com. You might be tuned into our frequency. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 or 94.5 FM, or maybe you're on Facebook Live. Wherever you are, thank you for joining us. You can also always call into the show. Join us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN. That's 210-656-3776. There was an alligator attack over the weekend, Pledge, and video came out.
It's at the station?
No. It happened at Scales and Tails in Utah.
So not at the station.
No one we know either. But it's a zoo. People get to see the alligators up close, and there's a handler that went in there, and she got handled by the alligator. It's a gnarly video on TMZ, the most credible news outlet in the country. Don't you agree with that? TMZ could drop anything, and they'd be right.
They're way up there when it comes to, and it used to be kind of the funny, dirty tabloid news to which you didn't give much credit, but ever since basically Michael Jackson's death, they've been a very reliable news source in terms of actually breaking news.
And then it's the crazy things like this, or the tabloid stuff that doesn't discredit them, because it's not that like they were wrong, but they're just trying to fill content. I go to TMZ every day, specifically for the sports headlines, but this is a cool video. There was a guy who was just another onlooker, went in, saved this handler from being mauled alive. It's a crazy video, and you just played it before the show, and I said, we got to talk about that. So here we are. We're closing it out on that. So before we get out of here.
Would you jump on the back of an alligator?
Absolutely not. I'd be the person filming it for TMZ.
Yeah, secure that bag.
Exactly. Hey, TMZ, y'all want this? I'm amazed that somebody was watching, and they're like, while somebody else jumps in there, I'm just going to film this, pull out my phone, all that good jazz.
That leads me to the question of the alligator handler.
It's a nope job.
That's a nope job, right?
Nope job. No way I'm doing
other
that.
Nope jobs? Because I think snake handler also a big nope job.
Not as bad. I've held snakes before.
Nope.
It's a nope job for you?
Nope. I won't say it's an irrational fear of snakes, but it's an irrational fear of snakes. Even like little tiny garden snake. Nope.
People have phobias. I can't think of any off the top of my head that I would want to have or I would never take, but there's definitely a lot out there that it's like, no, that's a no.
I could think of a ton.
Go ahead.
What about like skyscraper work? Top of skyscraper buildings as they're being
I
built.
hope they've made that safer than it used to be.
Well, I'm sure everything's safer than it used to be.
Then it wouldn't be too bad.
Okay. That's
it would be scary. You have to get used to it.
Hard no.
That's a hard no for you?
Because you're talking about working on sometimes like the tallest structures in the world in Dubai, where it's just open and sandstorms blowing out of nowhere.
Well, that wouldn't be fun. I'm not going to do that in Dubai. I might do it in New York. That'd be cool.
Well, then you're talking about the wind gusts and the crosswinds between buildings.
So B is joining us on YouTube, and she says, I love snakes, used to have a couple, each with their own cute personality. See, you just need to own a couple snakes.
Nope.
Fair. I understand.
That is a huge nope.
Hey, it was a great show today. I hope I can get paid like Joel Embiid someday for whatever it is that I'm really good at.
I don't think either of us
There's
are
not
ever getting paid like Joel Embiid.
just 1 year. I'd like to make $50 million per year for that 1 year. That'd be fun. We have a lot to talk about tomorrow on Halftime. The headlines haven't been made yet, but we'll have them here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Y'all enjoy the second half of your day.
Football in America is a special game, a unique game played like nowhere else on earth. It's a rare game, and the men that play it make it so.